Hi, and welcome to today's video. You're definitely going to need a pen, so go ahead and get one. I'm going to keep you entertained for the first couple of minutes with some stories. Hopefully you'll appreciate them, and hopefully we will enjoy this video. So the first thing is that I have now turned on comments on the blog so that you can either ask questions and actually have me answer them, or you can just post comments in general. So that's turned on. Again, they're moderated, so no comments like "you're stupid" or "you're ugly" will be posted on the blog. I'm going to follow my friend at domainsherpa.com, who has a theory that, and I agree with it, that the people who leave comments shouldn't be allowed to abuse the guests. Well, since I'm the only guest, I don't think I should be abused. With that in mind, we will moderate comments, but opinions, if you disagree with me, are fine. Just no cursing, swearing, or saying you're getting fatter and uglier, because, well, those will be disallowed. So I'll start you off with a little story. Back in, I guess, about 2000, I ran, maybe 1998, I ran a web company. I had about 25 staff members, and it's before I started outsourcing a whole bunch of stuff. And I was getting ready to, we were starting to outsource and we needed to reduce the staff. So we had a meeting with about 20 people in it in the boardroom. And I said, we always had one or two people always wanted to volunteer for everything. So I knew this was going to be a fun one. So I said, who wants to be the chief in charge of special projects? Well, one guy went, oh, me. Oh, I want to, me. And he was so excited that I said to him, okay, congratulations, you're now the chief in charge of special projects. Unfortunately, there are no special projects, so you're fired. And that was the end of his excitement. That's a true story, and it really happened. The other thing that I'm going to tell you is what I've been preaching all along, that even a trained monkey knows that if he stands in front of a coconut tree and just looks at it, probably no coconuts are going to fall. If he gives it a little shake and puts a little bit of work into it, he stands a better chance at getting some coconuts. So even monkeys know they need to work to increase the chances of them getting some profit, or increasing the chances of them getting some coconuts in this case. I hope you have a pen by now, because we're going to start in a minute with another topic. I'm just going to give you a new feature that I tend to like and I always find funny. Where it's called useless facts. So I'm going to give you two useless facts today, just because we're starting it out, but just regularly you're only going to get one, because I don't want to spoil you. So today I'm going to tell you, here are useless facts. Number one, it is impossible to sneeze with your eyes open. I'm sure most of you are going to try that the next time you sneeze. You'll have to find a way to run to a mirror and check it out, but it's impossible to sneeze with your eyes open. Remember that one. Now something more important that you can actually apply, and it's somewhat computer related. The pound key on your keyboard or on your cell phone is actually called an octotroph. Octotroph. It's not called a pound key, although we call it that because, I don't know, it looks like a tic-tac-toe sign. But anyway, enough of that nonsense, and now let's hopefully you have a pen, because now we're going to hit some meat. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water because I know I'm going to be talking for a bit during the next session. So this one I'm going to call Lead Generation Part 1. I'm going to call it Part 1 because there's so much information that I can give you on lead generation, because I've been testing it now for the last year, year and a half, 2 years, and I've learned quite a bit about lead generation. And there's a lot of people in the domain industry who are understanding now that lead generation and building businesses are very important if you're going to survive and not going to end up applying for a job soon. So we're going to talk about lead generation, and I'm going to do a bit of reading. So my eyes are going to go down. Don't feel insulted. I'm still thinking of you. And it's lead generation part 1, and we're off to the races. Okay, so I hope you have that pen ready, because it's time. It's time. Are you ready to rumble? Let's go. So let's talk about local marketing. Local marketing is a big business. Reach Local in 2009 did $203.1 million. Yodel in 2010 did $63.4 million. Yext in 2011 did 23 million, and Yelp in 2010 did 100 million. So most local business owners realize the potential of online marketing to some degree, but they're sick of being sold services and being promised the world. And most of them are quite, they've been ripped off at least once, let's say. To them, you're just a snake oil salesman. They get calls every day trying to sell them internet marketing services or SEO. So they're not really happy about it. And in general, most local business owners, well, they stink. They're annoying and they suck. So it's hard to manage their expectations. Typically, a huge amount of training or questions and answers, trying to understand how it works, backlinks, SEO, on-page SEO, off-page SEO, PPC, and all that crap. And they think they can go out and hire someone cheaper, or they want to bring it in-house, or whatever. Either way, they end up ditching you. But there are a few things that you can do to help avoid that. So it's good to know these little tidbits of information. Small businesses, no matter how much they question what you could or couldn't do, spent over $16.1 billion on online marketing in 2012. And they're on track to spend over $40 million in 2015. So they do have money to spend, and they are spending it. So how are you going to snag a little piece of this and lock them in so they never want to stop paying for you? Well, that's lead generation, and that's where we're headed. Hint, hint, the name of the title. So there's 4 different ways you can sell lead generation, and we're going to look at a few of them now. One is that you sell them phone leads. The other is that you sell them on a cost per appointment. The third is that you sell them on a percentage of revenue. And the fourth is that you lease the site for a monthly fee. So let me explain some of these. Selling them phone leads means, obviously, the phone rings. Let's say I'm let's pick something. Let's pick Miami Roofing, okay? So I've got a website, miamiroofing.com. The phone rings, I answer it, I get the lead, and I sell the lead to a roofing company. Then you can sell them on a cost per appointment basis, which means if I find a dentist in Miami, the dentists are typically willing to spend a lot of money on cost per appointments, because that means they're only paying you when the customer calls in and the lead calls in and they actually book an appointment. So you can usually get between $50 to $65 per appointment that they book, because they may get a whole family booking if the guy's happy, or a girl or woman or beast or whatever they are. They may they'll get at least 2 visits a year from the person, and again, if it's a family, they'll get more. They may get other things like fillings. I mean, and if they treat them well, they have a long-term customer that they've paid about $50 to $65 for. So cost per appointment is another way to do lead generation. You can sell them on a percentage of revenue. So if you've got a sprinkler guy or a fencing guy, and he's quoting $6,000, and he agrees to give you 10% or 15%, you're making $600 or $900 for the percentage of the revenue on the lead. Or you can lease them the site for a monthly fee. Let's say you've got Miami Roofing and you want to get a couple $1,000. You can sell it for $200 a month, $250 a month, $100 a month, $50 a month, depending on what you want to do. So that's 4 different ways to do lead generation. And all of them are good. Some are better and some are worse, and we're going to talk about those as we go on. So you're thinking, yeah, that sounds great, but how do we lock them in to pay us month after month with no hassle? Well, the secret is you own the assets that produce results for these local clients. So it's important to note that, again, you own the assets. So you own Miami Roofing or Miami Dentist, but I'm going to tell you when we get near the end of this exactly how you're going to control that lead flow, and how you're going to monitor it, and how you're going to be able to turn the tap on and turn the tap off. So how much do you sell leads for? Okay, so I've already got a bunch of clients lined up who are willing to buy leads for many different businesses. A few hundred, actually, probably closer to 700 or 800. So for example, I'll give you a few quick examples and then we'll move on. For a air conditioning installation, I can get $66 a lead. Heating about the same, and a nursing home or Medicare will pay about $78 per lead. A nursing home pays $78. If you need paint or something done on the external of your house, they're about $66, $65. If you need a roofing replacement or roof install or some sort of vinyl siding or something, they're around $84 for roofing and around $70 for the vinyl sliding. So there's lots of opportunities. I mean, if you Google Miami AC repair, you're going to find that there's about 2,900 local monthly searches, and that's got a high competition rate. And you already know for AC repair, we can get $66 a lead. So that's easy to find. Now, if you compare that, you compare your AC leads with what you can get off Commission Junction. If we can get $66 with a lead and go direct to the air conditioning service company, that's great. If you were to go through Commission Junction and send them to Sears, your earnings is is $20 per lead, so much less. So a study was done by Kellogg that revealed the odds of connecting with a lead increases by 100 times if you attempt to connect with them within 5 minutes versus 30 minutes. So it's important that if you do get a lead, you respond very quickly. The odds of converting a lead if called in 5 minutes versus 30 minutes increased by 21 times. So you're 21 times more likely to close that lead if you call them in the first 5 minutes that they fill out your form than if you wait 30 minutes. So you can only imagine what happens if you wait days or weeks or things like that. So that's that. Some offline businesses receive 50 to 75% of their leads over the phone, and their conversion rates are usually at least 30 to 40%. Usually, if they get somebody on the phone, it's much easier to close a lead than it is through email. So again, you want to basically follow those concepts. Now, what are the chances that people are willing to pay for exclusive phone leads? Well, they're pretty good. As a test, we called 10 local businesses and pitched them the lead generation plan. 3 said they were interested and wanted us to send them a contract to look at. And within a week, one of them actually signed it. So you can get there. And there is good money in it. And then you can find all kinds of different niches that I'll tell you about near the end of the video. But you need to also make sure another key factor is that you target a highly populated city or you're going to be wasting your time. So you want to target a city with a population of at least 50 to 60,000, minimum 50 to 60,000, preferably higher. Over 100,000 would be even better. The higher the target, the better it is, and the more leads you're probably going to get in that city or that area. So how do you get your leads? The pitch is pretty simple. You just tell the customer, if you get them on the phone, let's do a test. And you wait for his reaction. And if you do a test and it doesn't cost them anything, they can't say it's not in the marketing budget because it's not costing them anything unless you bring them in a client. So we do some tests, we build some sites, built out some pretty good sites, and our results were pretty good. And that's just how it goes. So if you take this concept and you do it with services or commercial clients in a bigger city, you can make a fair bit of money. So let's say it takes 2 weeks to build a site, which it doesn't if you use my company, nichewebsites.com or leadgenerationtemplates.com. It takes about 2 to 3 days. So it takes about 2 to 3 days to build a site and about 1 to 2 weeks at the most to rank. And then once you rank, then you're in good shape. So let's look at a typical dentist that we tried with 1 month of stats. He had 810 clicks, 231 calls. He booked 52 appointments and 4 clicks leads to a call. So that was about a 4-to-1 ratio. So 4.5 calls to an appointment. So the dentist is willing to pay, we already know, about $50 to $65. So that turned into pretty good revenue. Tons of businesses also have service fees. And you can typically get 50 to 60 or 80% even of their service fees, because they're going to make their money when they go out there and they actually have to do some service work. For example, if your furnace breaks, they may charge you $80 for the service fee, and you may be able to get $50 just for the service fee, and then you know you can get more for the actual lead. Um, and generally, 66% when they call will convert, and 36% of those will convert to an appointment. So it's not that difficult. And now, where are we going? The most important thing about lead generation is how you track your phone calls. So one of the things that we've done is that I have built a call tracking system where I can take the leads, and here's where it's going to get a little interesting. So what I'm suggesting you do is, if you have let's stick with Miami for a second. So we're in Miami. We have a roofing company. We've set up miamiroofing.com. We've set it on a lead generation template. We're getting the leads either through email or through phone. Now, we put our phone number on there, but we forward that phone number directly to the company that we're providing the exclusive leads to. Now, with the system that I've built, you can record the calls, so you can listen to them and you can actually hear how the calls went. And then you can know where what's working and what isn't working. And there was a situation where we had a client who wasn't extremely happy with his call conversions. So we did a bit of testing on his call center people, and it turns out that out of the 4 people that were answering his phone calls, 2 were doing really well and could answer pretty much all the questions that I threw at them, while the other 2 didn't know much about as much about the business. They couldn't explain much about the products, and they barely even knew where the office was. And this was a real roofing company. So a day later, 2 of those employees were terminated, and the sales and the conversion rates went up quite a bit. So you can see how that has a big difference. So a couple of things that you need to consider is, one is that you make sure that if you're in Miami, you have a 305 phone number on there, and you have a local number. Any one of your lead gen sites, it doesn't matter if you have them in 50 different cities, they should all have local phone numbers on them, because people feel more comfortable calling a local phone number than they do a toll-free number. And numbers have shown that you will convert about 30% more will actually call the local number than if it's a toll-free number. And that will increase your chances. So with that in mind, make sure it's a local number. You've got the different ways to charge. The pay-per-appointment thing is really good if you're dealing with a dentist, or you're dealing with a doctor, or you're dealing with somebody else that requires a service industry or something like that. Pay-per-call is not bad. But again, a lot of times it may be window shopping. Pay per percentage of revenue is also good. I have contracts available for all of these different types of things that I may make available shortly. And make sure you know what your competitors are charging. Make sure that you know what your competitors are selling, and make sure that the company that you pick to sell the leads to is A, very good at their business, and B, that they're very competitive. And make sure you pick a few top cities and look at competitors in those cities, and look at how their sites, so if you're sticking with roofing, find some of the top sites for roofing in Miami, look how their sites are designed, look at what they offer, look at what their unique selling propositions are, and what are the common elements between all the sites. And then figure out who the key players are using Google AdWords, and see who's buying AdWords and who you're competing with. And then you've got many different ways to drive traffic to the site. You can use Google Places. It's cheap and effective, but it takes a while to get listed. You can use Google AdWords, set it and forget it. And if you combine that AdWords, it's pretty good if you combine it with Google Places. The cons are you can't really target as well Google AdWords geographically. But you can if you use specific keywords like Miami roofing and things like that. Hopefully people in Dallas aren't going to type in Miami roofers. You can make sure you know who your organic traffic is and who you're competing with to get on page 1 or page 2. Check out your Facebook advertising, because Facebook has excellent geo-targeting. Um, and it's may get a little more difficult on Facebook if it's a smaller niche. And then check deal sites. You may find some discounted offers and things like that, and know what people are doing. But again, make sure that you're tracking your calls, you're tracking your conversions, and that you are using local phone numbers. And I'll take some test cases on, and I'll set you up and match you up with some leads. If you've got a good geodomain with a good service industry, and I'll give you some good service industries where I already have people that are willing to pay in most cities, we can go from there and we can test it. So let's keep going, and I'm going to give you some of those good lead areas now. So we already talked about dentists, chiropractors, doctors, acupuncturists, home care, assisted living, attorneys. There's personal injury attorneys, DUI attorneys. Those are good. Divorce attorneys. Accountants will pay for leads. Insurance for cars, boats, homes, life, real estate, mortgages, bankruptcy, weddings, bail bonds. They'll pay for leads too. Event planning, catering, wedding planning, hair salons, day spas, travel agents, locksmiths, furniture, home improvement, roofers, plumbing, general contractors, home inspectors, home lighting, home security, home siding, insulation, and could go on and on and on. Home doors, home builders, landscaping, carpeting, flooring, painters. These guys will all pay for new clients. So you can do that. Even window cleaners, pools, garbage pickup, auto parts, body shops, windshield repair, vets, groomers. The list goes on and on. So if you're interested in getting involved and want to do something with me, I've set up a site at leadgenerationtemplates.com. You can go buy a site for, I think it's $199. We'll build the site. We have some sample sites there that we've already built on the sidebar for auto body repairs, detailing, bankruptcy attorneys, carpet cleaners, chiropractors. You'll see them when you go there. You don't have to buy the site from me. You can buy it from anybody. But for $199, I don't think you're going to do much better than that for a fully completed site. And then I'm going to work to match it up. And I'll take maybe 4 or 5 clients and we'll do a test. And we'll match it up, and I'll try to teach you how to convert it to leads. And then that'll be my test for a little while. And we'll see how it goes over the first month or so. And once you've converted leads on one site, you've made your money back. I'm sure you're going to want to do more sites and more sites and more sites. So for the first 5 that want to go ahead and go to leadgenerationtemplates.com, I'm sure by now I'll have added the banner to the video. You can take a look at it, and if you have any questions about lead generation in general, you can feel free to ask me. I have done it in a lot of different industries. I continue to do it in a lot of different industries. And don't let anybody tell you that lead generation is not the future. It is both the present and the future, and it is the way to build your business and bring a customer, more customers, without them having to do any payout for non-performance. So, I mean, if you're going to bring them leads, and I have a lot of customers that will prepay for leads. So I will sell them 25 or 30 leads ahead of time at $60 a pop. They'll prepay, and then once I get to the end of the contract, if they don't want to renew, they can say to me, and I think one guy did say, I don't really want to renew. And I said, well, okay, that's fine. I'm not worried about it, because I'll just send the leads to your competitor. And then he changed his mind and he renewed. So this isn't really a sales pitch. This is about lead generation, and it's mostly about the 4 ways that you can do lead generation. And I'm going to go back to that in my little thing here and tell you that the 4 major ways that you need to work on lead generation is, whether you work with me or whether you work alone, is that you either sell phone leads, which is hard for you to track because you'll have to keep the customer's name, you'll have to do follow-up, and you'll have to find out if they converted, because you won't be able to trust your person you're giving the leads to right away unless you have a close relationship with them. You can sell them on a cost per appointment, like to a dentist, where they will pay 50 or whatever it is per appointment that they book, which really is a long-term client for them. You can sell them on a percentage basis where they get 10 to 15, or where you get 10 to 15 or 20% of the revenue that they get, and you can do it on gross or net. You'll deal with them on that. And you can also do it on a lease, where they lease the site from you if they want to do real estate leads and they want to buy MiamiRealEstate.com if you're lucky enough to have it, and they want to pay you $500 or $1,000 a month. You can do it that way as well. That's it for lead generation part one. We're going to go into a whole lot more detail over the next few months. It's going to take time because I'm going to be doing a major presentation on lead generation at Traffic from beginning to end, and you'll be able to see the whole process and some case studies where we actually did it with real customers. The 5 people that are going to sign up now, I'm going to talk about their results at the Traffic Conference in May, at the end of May. So we'll have some real people and real results to go over as well. And other than that, look forward to working with you. I'm probably going to post at least one of the contracts underneath this video, so if you decide to do lead generation on your own, at least you have a guide for a contract that you can set up with a client, and away you go. So take a couple things away from this. 2 important things: local numbers on all of your lead gen sites. And the second thing is call tracking. Make sure that you're in control and you track the calls, and if you have a number that you're using to advertise for, let's say for SEM through AdWords, you can always turn that pipe on or turn that pipe off, or you can forward that pipe to a different person that wants your leads. So you will always control them. Your customer will never know where they're coming in from, and you can go out and get them in many different areas and many different ways. So that's it. I'm looking forward to working with the 5 people that come in and purchase sites, and send me an email, and we'll to adam@dcg.com. If you're not already subscribed to the blog, you're missing out. Go to theartofthename.com, top right, and hit the subscribe button. Put in your email address and subscribe so that you get new updates when I put them out there. And that's about it. And I hope you enjoyed your useless fact of the day. And I think that's about it. So it's been enjoyable, as always. You can now leave comments on this or any other video that I've done, positive or negative, as long as it's constructive. I don't care. Or ask any questions that you want, or leave any comments. Thanks a lot, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.